Hello, fellow empaths. You identify as an empath. Are you protecting your energy or are you safeguarding it? Now, there's a subtle difference between the two, but it'll make a world of change. And hi, if you're new here, my name is Beth. I see auras and I talk to spirit. And on this channel, we talk about all things woo-woo. In this video, we're going to talk about how we, as empaths, can safeguard our energy rather than protect and not take things in. And at the end, I'll give you 3 practical tips that you can start using today that will help immediately. So as empaths, we feel life in such a deep way, and it's a beautiful thing. And it's really important to center back into what our experience is. So there's 3 ways an empath will show up in the world. One is physically, where we feel physical pain from someone else that we love and care about deeply, or we could even just feel the symptoms of someone else who's going through that physical pain. The second way is intuitively, where it's sort of like the intuitive or psychic empath. So you just have a knowing of what someone's thinking or feeling. And then the third most common way is emotionally. So you're sitting with someone or you hear a story and you weep as they weep, or you feel that anger just as they feel that anger. So it can get really overwhelming pretty quickly. So then protecting our energy versus safeguarding our energy becomes really, really important. So what are the differences between the two? First, protecting our energy is all about protecting or safeguarding against it. We're putting that wall up, keeping harm away from us and not allowing, versus safeguarding, which is taking measures preventing potential harm. So there's a real subtle difference. But when you're sitting with someone that you love and care about, it's important to remember to safeguard instead of protect, because we don't want to be on the defensive. We want to allow their experience to happen without taking it on. And that's where safeguarding comes in. Now, there are times where protecting our energy is really important. So I want to encourage that as well. But when we're sitting with someone that we love and deeply care about, we want them to have their own experience. So safeguarding allows us to show up for the people that we love and care about most in our lives without allowing that emotion to stay with us for days, weeks, even months afterwards. So when it comes to protecting versus safeguarding, what I've learned through the Nushu training that I've been through is allowing the person to have their experience without taking it on. And that takes a little bit of practice, but it's something that we all are able to do even in the moment. So how do we know when we need to safeguard our energy? So as empaths, we know that moment when we can viscerally feel what the other person is going through. We're starting to well up with tears, or we're getting angry, or we're feeling what they're feeling, and that can be really overwhelming. But taking a minute to pause and notice that just the arising of what's happening inside, and noticing that, hey, my empathy is really kicking on and it's time for me to safeguard my experience so that I can allow this person to have their experience. So how can we as empaths safeguard our energy versus protecting in a moment where we're experiencing that arising of empathic emotions? So here are 3 practical tips that I've learned along the way, and maybe it'll help you. And these practices are something that you can do in the moment while you're sitting with that person. So if you'd like to share how you safeguard your energy as an empath, please drop it in the comments below, because I believe that sharing is caring. And because it works for me doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work for everybody. So the first tip is to ground yourself. And you don't have to do anything like close your eyes or get away from the room. So notice the physical sensations around you, whether it's the chair that you're sitting on, or the sounds in the room, or the way that your clothes feel. Getting in touch with what the physical happenings on your body will help you to ground yourself in a moment where you feel maybe swept away in someone else's experience. The second tip is to ask yourself if it's their emotion or my emotion. By simply asking if it's my emotion versus their emotion will allow us to be able to witness what our friend or loved one is going through. And that allows this space for them to have their experience and for us just to simply witness them in that moment. So this is really important in the safeguarding our energy aspect, because when we hold that space for them and simply witness and don't take that energy on, we are able to hold space for them and listen and be there and not get caught up in the emotional rapture that goes on inside of us. And if you're an empath, if you know, you know. And the last tip is to simply witness. There's something so powerful in just allowing the person to experience what they're experiencing and not take any of that on, but allow that space and that time for them to share what is going on. So those are the 3 practices that I've learned along the way, especially through my new shoe journey. Let me know if this was helpful for you, or if you used any of it, or if you even have some extra tips that you'd like to drop in the comments below. Thanks again for subscribing and joining me along on this journey. I'm so grateful that our paths have crossed. Until next time, sending you love.